Our solar system is full of many interesting objects. The Earth isn't the only stellar body within a few billion miles worth knowing something about, and there are certainly better ones that you don't have to go that far for. In case you happen to get a chance to visit any of these extraterrestrial spaces, I've put together this list of basic facts and given each object a rating. Earth. This rocky planet has a mass of 5.9 times 10 to the 24th kilograms and has a radius of 3,958 miles. It is 92 million miles from the Sun and takes a full year to complete its orbit. It completes a full rotation around its axis in a 24-hour period and has an atmosphere composed mostly of nitrogen and oxygen. Earth has an incredibly unique surface, covered mostly in water with very distinct land masses. The largest distinguishable landmass on Earth is Asia. Earth is also very green due to the wavelengths of light from the Sun that plants can absorb. Earth is notable for a variety of features. Probably the most important is the presence of life. This life would be impossible without Earth's other important aspects, its molten core and its electromagnetic field. These two features are related as the solidification of the core generates the energy that creates the field. 6.5 out of 10. I live here, so I'm rating it a little harsher than the other objects. Cats are pretty nice, so I'm going to give the whole complicated life thing a pass as well. The Moon, or Luna, is the natural satellite of Earth. It is 7.3 times 10 to the 22nd kilograms and has a radius of 1,079 miles. It is 238,900 miles from the Earth, which it takes 27 days to orbit. Its surface is a rocky wasteland dotted with impact craters and covered in a fine dust called lunar regolith. Luna is tidally locked with Earth, so only one side will face it at any given time. Lunar and solar eclipses are caused when the Sun, Moon, and Earth are aligned and cast a shadow on each other. 5.6 out of 10. The Moon is the only other object in the solar system that humans have set foot on, but ultimately, it's pretty boring. Mars. The last inner planet comes in at 6.3 times 10 to the 23rd kilograms, with a radius of 2,106 miles. It is 149 million miles from the Sun, which it takes 1.9 years to orbit. Mars rotates on its axis every 24 hours and 37 minutes, almost the same length as a day on Earth. Its atmosphere is about 1% the thickness of Earth's and is composed mostly of carbon dioxide. Mars has a rich brown-orange color due to the iron oxides that cover its surface. While there is plenty of evidence that liquid water existed on Mars at some point, it is impossible for any to exist currently due to Mars's thin atmosphere. It is the home of the solar system's largest volcano, Olympus Mons. It is unclear whether the volcano is inactive, as the most recently observed lava flow patterns date back to around 2 million years ago, which is relatively young for a volcano. 7 out of 10, unique color in history, especially for a rocky planet. Phobos is a natural satellite of Mars. It has a mass of only 11 times 10 to the 15th kilograms and a radius of 7 miles. It is 3,721 miles away from Mars and completes its orbit in 7.3 hours. Phobos is an irregularly shaped moon, which isn't uncommon in the solar system. It is thought to have a similar composition to some asteroids. It also has strange streaks covering its surface, thought to have been created after an impact or through the moon slowly weakening. Scientists believe that Phobos could eventually fall apart and form into a ring surrounding Mars. 3.1 out of 10. Potato-shaped moons aren't very stylish, and it could just be a ring already. Venus. This Earth-like planet is 4.8 times 10 to the 24th kilograms and has a radius of 3,760 miles, making it only slightly smaller than Earth. It's 67.2 million miles from the Sun and takes only 225 days to complete its orbit. Venus spins very slowly on its axis, taking 116 days to complete a whole rotation. Its atmosphere is 6 times as dense as Earth's at its surface and is composed mostly of carbon dioxide and nitrogen. The surface of Venus is 872 degrees Fahrenheit, and there is a constant acidic rain that falls from the upper atmosphere to an altitude of about 19 miles before evaporating again and reforming as clouds at 30 miles above the surface. Venus was the first extraterrestrial planet to have its surface photographed. In 1975, the Russian probe Venera 9 landed on and photographed Venus. The lander only lasted 53 minutes after touching down. 7.8 out of 10. Best of the rocky planets due to its cool weather patterns and surface. Saturn. This gas giant is 5.68 times 10 to the 26th kilograms and has a radius of 34,184 miles. It orbits at 890 million miles from the Sun, taking 29 years to complete a full cycle. Saturn rotates at more than double the speed of Earth, as its days only last 10 hours and 40 minutes. Saturn's atmosphere gets denser as it gets closer to the center of the planet, a small rocky core. Beyond that core is a layer of metallic hydrogen and then a vast ocean of liquid hydrogen. The planet is most notable for its rings, which start at 7,385 miles from the surface and end at 264,074 miles from the surface. Saturn has upwards of 12 rings, each with a distinct start and end. Saturn generates a lot of energy on its own, putting out 2.5 times the energy it receives from the Sun. 6.3 out of 10. While it is one of the most recognizable planets in the solar system, its composition is standard for gas giants. Titan is the largest moon in the solar system and is about 2% the mass of Earth at 1.3 times 10 to the 23rd kilograms and 1,600 miles in radius. It orbits Saturn at a distance of 759,234 miles once every 16 days. Its atmosphere is composed mostly of nitrogen and methane. Titan is one of the most similar bodies to Earth in the solar system. It has lakes, rivers, and deserts, except the water is replaced by liquid methane and ethane, and the sand is composed of dark hydrocarbon grains. It's in a unique position to be potentially suitable for life due to a massive ocean of saltwater and ammonia deep under its surface ice that has conditions suitable for recognizable life forms. 5.4 out of 10. The similar atmosphere and surface to Earth make this moon immensely interesting. Daphnis is a very interesting moon due to where it falls in Saturn's ring system. At 84,817 miles from the surface, it sits solidly in the Keeler Gap. Because of this position and its fast 14-hour orbit, it exerts an extreme enough gravitational force on the rings close to it to create unique waves. One of these waves is on the external ring in the direction it is traveling, and the other is on the internal ring in the direction it came from. 2.3. While this moon creates an interesting gravitational effect, it doesn't provide much on its own. Jupiter is the most massive planet in the solar system, coming in at 1.89 times 10 to the 27th kilograms with a radius of 43,441 miles. It orbits the Sun at a distance of 483 million miles, taking 12 years. Jupiter's atmosphere is made up of 90% hydrogen and 10% helium, which is relatively standard for gas giants. Much like Saturn, it has a core made of rock and ice, on top of which is a vast layer of metal hydrogen. Beyond that is a layer of liquid hydrogen and then the outer atmosphere. Jupiter's storms are its most striking feature. It has two main large storms, the Great Red Spot and the Southern Storm. The Great Red Spot is the biggest storm in the solar system at 10,000 miles wide. It is believed to have been observed for more than 350 years. Jupiter's Southern Storm is both beautiful and incredible. This storm has a hexagonal pattern with 7 cyclones. It is also a very different color from the rest of Jupiter. 7.8 out of 10. Jupiter's bands are very pretty and it has the coolest storms. Europa is Jupiter's most famous moon. It has a mass of 4.8 times 10 to the 22nd kilograms and is 969 miles in radius. It orbits Jupiter at 390 million miles, taking a total of 85 hours. It has a negligible atmosphere and an icy surface, covered in strange jagged lines. These lines are produced by Europa's surface cracking and bulging when its subsurface ocean swells due to Jupiter's gravity. This ocean is another possible source for extraterrestrial life in our solar system. It could be host to life that gets its energy from the radiation that Jupiter gives off. 8.6 out of 10. Very interesting appearance, caused by a simple source. Callisto and Io are two other important moons orbiting Jupiter. Callisto is possibly the oldest rocky body in the solar system, and is therefore the most heavily cratered object. It has been studied as a target for human exploration in the Jovian system due to its size, relative habitability, and water composition. Io is the most geologically active object in the solar system, with volcanoes so strong they often eject material into space in massive, beautiful plumes. I would give both of these moons an 8.3 out of 10 for their looks and unique attributes. Pluto is no longer special. Because of its redesignation as a dwarf planet, it is no longer the furthest planet from the Sun, and isn't even the most exciting object in the Kuiper Belt. Pluto takes a full 248 years to orbit the Sun, which it does at a distance of 3.6 billion miles. Its surface can get as cold as -400 degrees Fahrenheit, and is not totally flat, with mountains, valleys, and craters. Eris and Ceres are interesting because they were both classified as dwarf planets long before Pluto, but are both larger than it. 2 out of 10. Cold, dark, boring. Haumea is the most exciting object in the Kuiper Belt. With a mass of 8.6 times 10 to the 21st, it orbits the Sun at 4 billion miles, taking only slightly longer than Pluto, at 284 years. Haumea is not a sphere-shaped object. Rather, it is a triaxial ellipsoid, a strange, almost egg-shaped object. It spins incredibly fast, making a full rotation in only 3.9 hours. It was also the first object in the Kuiper Belt to be discovered with a ring. 9.5 out of 10. Egg dwarf planet go burr. Uranus. This ice giant has a mass of 8.6 times 10 to the 25th kilograms, and a radius of 15,759 miles. It orbits the Sun at a distance of 1.7 billion miles, taking 84 years. Unlike the gas giants, only Uranus's atmosphere is composed of hydrogen and helium, while its inner layers are made of water, ammonia, and methane ices. Its axis is tilted at nearly a right angle to its orbit, causing fast and extreme seasons in its polar regions. 4.2 out of 10. It's only made slightly more interesting because of its axis, and it has the funny name. Neptune. The furthest planet in the solar system has a mass of 1 times 10 to the 26th kilograms and a radius of 15,229 miles. It is 2.7 billion miles from the Sun, which it takes 165 years to orbit. Like Uranus, this ice giant is cold and dark. 4.1 out of 10, only because it's the last planet in the solar system. The Asteroid Belt is a circumstellar disk, shaped in a torus, located between Mars and Jupiter. It is not densely packed with asteroids, and is rather a large zone that has accumulated many irregular objects. 6 out of 10. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun. It has a mass of 3 times 10 to the 23rd kilograms and a radius of 1,516 miles. It orbits the Sun in 58 days at a distance of 37 million miles. It spins very slowly, taking 58 hours to complete a full rotation. Its atmosphere is non-existent, and its surface can get up to 800 degrees Fahrenheit, and has a similar appearance to the Moon's surface. 1.2 out of 10. The only thing it has going for it is being the closest planet to the Sun, and the 300 or so volcanoids are better at that. The heliosphere is a massive area around the solar system that the Sun has an effect on. This is mostly through the solar magnetic field and solar wind. This wind ripples in a spiral pattern as the sun spins. 6.5 out of 10. Last distinguishable part of our solar system. Beautiful spiral pattern. And that's everything I wanted to talk about. Our solar system is full of many wonderful things beyond Earth, and they all need just as much recognition as the tiny wet rock we live on.